Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and today we're going to be doing a new route learning video for the Ducken Railway. So basically this is purely for our staff, because obviously we're going to be playing some multiplayer sessions on this route with BLS staff members. So it's good for them to watch, and also it's good for members of the public to watch, to sort of, get an idea of what the route is all about and how to drive along it. A lot has changed since our last route learning video. This is why it is now a new part 1. If you want to see the previous version of the route learning video for Ducken, please see the link in the description below. I shall link the original video in there for you to take a look at, just so you can sort of see how much has changed since then. We've had new signalling put in, we've had new speed limits, etc. So a lot has changed since then. So today we're going to be driving a visiting loco number D182, which is a class 46 peak diesel locomotive. This has been fitted with our UK Trainz Sounds / British Locomotive Studios sound pack for the peak. This is soon to be released on the download station, but obviously we just need our testers to give us the green flag, and then we can place that up for everyone to download. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's actually get into driving this now. So the whole video is going to be in the cab, obviously, because it's a route learning video and we've got to drive this realistically. So let's get into our locomotive. Okay, so here we are in the cab of the locomotive. So this is Ducken. Ducken is the seaside holiday resort of the line, so basically it's the most popular place. It's not the railway's headquarters though. The actual railway's headquarters is at North Burton Hill. And as history goes, in the sort of 90s, the railway started at North Burton Hill. That was the sort of start of it, and then they eventually extended down to Ducken and then rebranded as the Ducken Railway. It is a very interesting history, this line. We've made up a story, and I will release that story to the public. I'll put it into our route folder when the route is released, and obviously you could download it direct from our website, or obviously the download station, but obviously it's good to get it from our website because then you get all the route manual and obviously all the information about the route come with it, so it's always good to go down that route. But yeah, anyway, so this is the cab of our peaks. We've got to set up here, so what we're going to do first is we're going to release our brake like so. And then we shall put the loco brake on. Okay. And we need to keep the engine in the neutral position on the reverser until we depart the station. So right now we can imagine that we've got the green flag from the guard, and we'll put ourselves into forward before we depart, sound the horn, and off we go and release our brake. So even though this says 40 mile an hour here, this is wrong. It just spawns in like that because this is the default speed limit. In this station it's 10 mile an hour, basically like most stations. So yeah, anyway, let's depart. So as we head over the bridge at 10 mile an hour, we eventually come to the 25 mile an hour speed board, and as standard on all heritage lines, the maximum speed is 25 miles per hour. Have it a nice bit of thrash for you guys, sort of, you know, get an in-depth look at the routes and the sounds, you know, that are yet to be released. We're passing the beach now on our left. Or is that the right? That's the right. Left is this way. So, right now, as you can see, we're coming up to a signal. This is a colour light signal, and it's saying we're branching off to the left. To the right is the network rail link. This link is only used for bringing visiting locos in or for special services at galas. And obviously the branch that we're heading down now, this is the preserved section. So the mainline link is only used for special trains down to North Barton Pier. We will demonstrate that in another route learning video at some stage. And this is obviously the preserved section. This is the main section we're heading down now. Okay, so we are now approaching the brand new station. So this station has been newly made. This is Ducken Castle. So Ducken Castle, the reason that this was built was because when we first did Ducken, we did start having a test trial and doing a multiplayer session on it. But a lot of BLS members complained that there was not enough passing loops, especially up on this section of line towards Ducken. So I built a brand new station called Ducken Castle, and the story goes that the railway got the funding to build this station. And yeah, it's good for tourists to visit the castle, which we will get out the cab and just have a brief look and show you the castle and where this station really, you know, what is the point of it basically, to show you the point of it, you know. So obviously it was a 15 mile an hour limit into this station, that's due to the point work. And to be honest, it should be a 15 mile an hour limit out of the station as well, but for some reason on here it is showing 25 still. My guess that is a little bug there which will need patching up before the route is released. So let's take a quick look outside. So this is Ducken Castle and it serves the castle over here. Okay, so this was the purpose of this station. Obviously I didn't really know how to make a passing loop down this end or what story would make sense, but this one does. So they built a station for visitors to be able to access or leave the station, you know, for the castle, which is down here, which is a tourist attraction, as we can see. It all makes sense. As you can see, now this is something interesting. So you see this. So this was a former railway line. It used to form a triangle, which used to connect to the mainline link over here, and as you can see there's a remnants of an old signal there, which is just really nice. It's a good touch. But yeah, so you can just vaguely see there used to be a triangle here many years ago. Okay, so now that our passengers are boarded, we can now depart for Pride Park, although Pride Park is a request stop only now. Originally I did have it as a proper station and you obviously had to stop there all the time, but now it is only served as a request stop. So we don't actually need to stop here. So it should be 15-mile-an-hour limit out of here, but as obviously it doesn't show it, that's a bit of a problem. But we're going to go 15, obviously, just because it's supposed to be 15. So that's what we're going to do over this point work. It would help if I put myself into forward gear, wouldn't it? Oh dear. Now we would usually go 25. Okay, for this trip we're not going to stop at Pride Park, we're going to go straight through it. But obviously, as I say, request stop. So you would only stop there occasionally if anyone, you know, wants to request for us to stop. So the previous station we was at, Ducken Castle, that was one of the two main passing points for trains. There's actually 3 passing points, although Pride Yard isn't really used as a passing point anymore unless it's at a gala event. At some stage I will show off how gala events work. How I'm going to do that, I don't know. It'll either be obviously like this and I just set up some random trains, or it could even be over a multiplayer session and we could sort of, you know, show off how it works in multiplayer, which could be a good idea. it'd be interesting to see that if we did do a video on that. So obviously, as you can see, I didn't put any power on. Now there's a reason for this, because this is actually a big downhill gradient, so you're going to let the gradient do the work for you, really. So our speed is gradually going to start going up now, as you can see, as we are now downhill. We're now approaching Pride Village. Now there's a bit of a way of stopping in this station, because obviously you want to make sure that you are over the crossing on this one. So you have to get out here and just make sure your entire train is over the crossing. We don't want your coaching stock to block the crossing. Like so. This also means that the guards coach is in the platform, and it's always important to have that. You need the guards coach in the platforms ideally. But yeah, you just need to make sure you're over the crossing, so this means that the crossing keeper can open the gates and let traffic go across. So they don't have to wait for boarding, basically. We've got some wheel slip there. Green on the section. Okay, so as we approach Pride Yard, we've got a 15-mile-an-hour limit, as per the original video. This is so we can obtain the token for the next section of line. As you can see, the signal in here has changed dramatically. The track layout has slightly changed as well. So the goods shed is now known as the Pride Wagon Trust. That is the wagon company that restore the railway's demo goods wagons. As you can see, we have the signalman giving us the token. That gives us way for the next section, basically. As you can see, this is a new siding here. This wasn't here before. It's to allow extra storage for some of the wagons and stock that the Ducken Railway own. Obviously this is mostly purely the Heritage Pride Yard Wagon Trust, which is now known as the South Wagon Trust, because we found that the Pride Wagon Trust name wasn't really the best, so we come up with a new one. Approaching crossing, hence why we had to do the whistle on the approach, or the horn in this case. Obviously anyone who is watching this, obviously do take note of all the signals that are along the line. Don't rely on my talking. As I say, I'm only going to talk about a few things. The most important thing about this video is to look and get an idea of the line, really, and the speed limits and the signalling. Now this is the railway's main headquarters coming up now, and this is also the mainstay of all the railway's locomotives and rolling stock. As you can see, the signal ahead is green. We don't have a feather. That means we're going to go straight down into platform 1 of the station. You'll notice this railway has a mixture of both colour light and normal signals. Obviously, most of these signals wouldn't be original to when the railway was open. They would have just been bought in and reused, as it were, for the Heritage Railway. With North Burton Hill being the main sort of point of action where you get to see all the locomotives, you can see that it is certainly a very busy station. A new addition to North Burton Hill is this signal museum, as it were. This is sort of a demonstration area where you can have a little play basically at all the different styles of signals. As you can see here, we've got a staff member and a visitor having a go at the signals. It's all good fun for the visitors, really, isn't it? And this area down here is basically just a place where you can film and get footage and see any of the locos that are coming in and out of the yard. This here is the diesel shed. This is where all of the diesel locomotives are stored. You'll be able to see that there's the diesel pump in there, and basically all inside there is the diesel preparation area. There is also a water crane. This is used for steam locos, although very rarely, because water cranes can also be found on the platform, so this is very rarely used, if at all. Our steam locomotive sheds are here with the red building. This engine shed is original, obviously. And this is where all of the railway's resident steam loco fleet is kept, inside the sheds or obviously outside, open to the elements. This is also another passing point for trains, probably one of the main passing points. Obviously we've got two tracks here. Once a train comes in, another one goes out towards Ducken. Obviously same goes with Ducken Castle. So you've got North Burton Hill and Ducken Castle, which are the main passing points for trains. There is a passing loop at Pride Yard, but as I stated earlier on, that is only mostly used at gala events, and demonstrations of that will be used in another route learning video. On the right you'll see that we're passing the carriage sheds. This is where all of the railway's coaching stock is stored, undercover. Our next station is New Hampton. Now this station serves the narrow gauge railway, also known as the Lakeside Miniature Railway. Look at that, spot on. There we go. So, this here is the Lakeside Miniature Railway. Obviously it's not really necessary to do a video on this at the moment, because obviously, you know, this is obviously we're doing the Ducken to Cresswell section, but I may do a route learning video on this railway as well. Let me know if you guys want a route learning video on this. There's not really much to the narrow gauge, it's just like a roundy train set, as it were. Basically just 10 mile an hour, 15 mile an hour in the stations, and then 25 for the rest of it. And only one train usually runs at a time on this. It's not really necessary to have two trains. But I mean, two trains is possible, but it's just very rarely done. You know, it's not really necessary. Okay, so now we've loaded our passengers at New Hampton. We're going to head along the newer section to Cresswell, and this is a strict 20 mile an hour along here due to Cresswell Forest. Obviously all the trees around the line. So here we are, heading into the station at 15 mile an hour. So this is Cresswell Forest Station. This serves the forest of Cresswell, and it's basically a place where visitors can get off and have picnics within the forest or down near the former tunnel, which I'll show you in a minute. You gotta go quite far down this track because you gotta make sure that the entire train can fit in the loop, especially on a long coach rake like this. So I'm just going to judge by stopping around about here, and that should be all okay for us. Now you see, look, we've still got that won't fit round there. So you've really got to move your train up to around about here to fit the entire coach rake into the platform. It is quite a challenging one, this station, to be honest, to get right. But hey, everyone loves a challenge. So that's what's not to do. And this is what to do. Obviously this varies on what locomotive you use, because obviously some are smaller than the others. So there we go. And we are now fit into to the loop. So now we're at Cresswell. Let's going to show you the picnic area. So obviously down here, this is where visitors can go and have their picnics. And basically that's what this station is all about. It's basically like, if you think of Thetford Forest in Norfolk, where they have paintballing, go ape and stuff like that. This is basically what that is. This is Cresswell Forest. This is a tourist attraction, and this is where the railway ends. And they will never extend any further than this, because yes, that tunnel is there. It's all bricked up, but if you go to the other side of the tunnel, you'll see that it's now filled in because of landslides. So there is no chance that any railway will ever go through there anymore. Which in a way is kind of sad, really, isn't it? And obviously they can't extend further from Ducken because new houses have been built over the former track bed, which again just is a shame, really, isn't it? But this is as far as it's going to go from Ducken to Cresswell. The next video will be Cresswell to Ducken. Let me know if this video has been informative. If it hasn't been informative enough, I will be more informative on the next part. But I think it's important to just show you the entire route in the cab, and just, you know, give you a little feel of it. You know, show it off. You know, you guys obviously have probably picked up on some of the signals and some of the whistle boards and speed limits on the route. And yeah, and just sort of, you know, giving you a little bit of an intro on what it's all about. So we're going to do a couple of these in a series. As I said, I'm going to show you obviously Ducken to Cresswell, as we've done here. We're going to Cresswell to Ducken. We're going to look at the miniature railway. We're going to show off what it's like at gala events. I'm also going to show off the Helensburgh Railway Centre. And yeah, and pretty much in total there's probably going to be about 5 or 6 of these route learning videos. So stay tuned for those, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope that they become informative so everyone can get to know the route a little bit. Obviously at the moment it is still, well, relatively WIP. There's still some bugs and glitches, even I've noticed on our way down here, which need rectifying. Like the 15 mile an hour limit wasn't showing up in the Ducken Castle station, even though it should. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video regardless, and I'll see you in another one. And yeah, comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. This has been Samuel Beeman of British Locomotive Studios. Goodbye for now.